What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Tim Sports Talk. And we got a 53-man roster to go over here in Washington. And there's definitely a lot of interesting takeaways, but we have to start with one right above my head. Brian Robinson somehow makes this 53-man roster, and he just got shot 2 days ago. That is unbelievable that they already have that much confidence that he will not miss at least 4 weeks of the season. They could at least put him on the PUP list similar to like they did with Chase Young, which forced him to miss the first 4 weeks. They think, as of this moment, that Brian Robinson may have a chance at playing within the first 4 weeks, and he was just shot in his legs, and he's a running back. How is that possible that at running back right now, Brian Robinson is still on this team? I don't know, but good for Brian Robinson. I hope that stays true. I guess they could still make moves on the back end. There's a lot of cuts throughout the league, so maybe we still will see eventually Brian Robinson move to the IR list. But for now, Brian Robinson, I guess they've shown them enough that he still has a chance. There's still a long road to heal, I'm sure. Getting shot twice in the leg when you're an NFL running back is not ideal. But for now, he's on the team. But we just had to start with that. But we're going to go down this list as we have. Of course, no shockers at the quarterback position. Carson Wentz, Taylor Heinicke, and Sam Howell all make the football team. That was a given. We drafted Sam Howell in the 5th. We wanted a veteran. Hardly can call him a veteran, but he has been in the league a long time now. Is Taylor Heinicke at the backup position, and of course we paid the big man Carson Wentz as our starter. We keep 6 wide receivers. Of course Terry, Jahan, our first round pick, Curtis Samuel, the guy we paid 2 years ago, and then De'Ami Brown, our 3rd round pick, does maintain a roster spot, even though we had a few cases of the drops last preseason game. That does not stop him from making the team. We keep Camp Sims, and Dax Milne is the 6th receiver, so no more Alex Erickson, no more Mark and Michelle or anybody else in company that thought maybe they had a chance of making the squad. Kelvin Harmon was cut a week ago. So no, Dax Milne makes this football team. All right, next up, we got the tight end position. All right, so we have 5 tight ends listed up here. Unbelievable that we went from last year that being this one of our lightest positions to now having 5 deep on this roster. This one surprised me. I thought at most we would keep 4 here, but no, they keep 5. Logan Thomas, John Bates, Cole Turner, and Amari Rodgers, who's looked great, and Curtis Hodges, who has not played much this preseason due to injuries, still finds a way to make this 53-man roster for now. I got to imagine, though, if we make a move at linebacker or somewhere at running back or something, this guy may be the one to get moved, because 5 tight ends on this roster is a lot, but he does do special teams. But for now, we got 5 tight ends, and honestly, this is a good group of tight ends. We got, of course, Logan, the veteran of the group, John Bates, only the 2nd year, more of a blocking tight end, Cole Turner, our rookie, but then Amari Rodgers and Curtis Hodges are also rookies. They were undrafted. Man, we'll definitely keep an eye on that tight end spot if they stay. 5 tight ends right now seems like a lot. We already talked about it. Brian Robinson makes this football team for now. Antonio Gibson, of course, behind him. J.D. McKissick and Jonathan Williams, who did not play last preseason game. And Louis T seemed to think there was an injury. I'm not sure if there was or not, but my understanding is he was practicing the whole way through, and I thought they just kept him out because they knew he was already going to make the football team. And we basically just had Jarrett Patterson and Bonifant and company just be the running backs out there for Sam Howell to see how he could do. But no, Jonathan Williams makes this 53-man roster. And he doesn't do anything great, but he's not a bad running back either. He's a solid 4th-string backup, I guess. We'll see if he can maintain that. We keep 9 offensive linemen, which means we have 27 offensive players. I was predicting only 26 because I thought we would keep maybe 4 tight ends, not 5. So that's where the extra one came in. But now we have 9 offensive linemen. And of course, it's Charles Leno, Chase Rouillet, Sam Cosmi, Andrew Norwell, and Trey Turner are starters. And then Cornelius Lucas, of course, our swing tackle. Wes Switzer, our interior backup to everybody. Sadiq Charles makes the football team. He was in competition for that last swing guard / but he also has position flex, Ron Rivera's favorite term, where he can also play tackle. He played tackle in college, so he can do a little bit of everything. So it does make sense due to the flexibility of you basically can plug him anywhere but center. He makes this football team. And our 7th round pick, Chris Paul, makes the team. I believe all of our draft picks made the team, if I'm not mistaken. So I believe we had 7 draft picks, and all of them made the football team. On to the defensive side of the football. We got the 9 defensive linemen. So they just mixed together the D tackles and defensive ends. Of course, we have our starters, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Montez Sweat, and James Smith-Williams will be the 4 starters. And then we have, of course, Fedarian Mathis, our 2nd round pick. I'm assuming he will be the 5th one if we do keep a 5th lineman in. Then we have Daniel Wise, who looked really good this preseason. He's been here for at least, I know he was here last year. He may have been here the year before that, but he actually looks pretty solid on the interior, making things happen, causing some havoc. Casey Toohill, a guy that gave us a lot of minutes last year when Sweat and Chase Young went down. He makes this football team. F.A. Obata, the transfer not the transfer, but the international player program guy. He's been in the league 6-7 years now from Buffalo. He makes the football team. And of course, Shaka Toney, he's kind of like a hybrid. We could be a lot of things, but mainly he's a 3rd down, get after the passer guy, great speed rush. So he makes this football team as the final defensive lineman. We keep 5 linebackers, which last year we only kept 4. We did not like our linebackers at all. And keeping 5 is probably right around, like 5 or 6 is probably where people keep most of the time, depending if you're running a 3-4 or a 4-3. We run the 4-3, so less linebackers. We have Damon Davis. Cole Holcomb is our 2 if we run the 5-2, and then David Mayo will be our 3rd linebacker in our 4-3 base defense. I don't like that at all, but I love the fact that Milo Eifler, number 46, made this football team. He's got a ton of raw talent from Illinois. He's a 2nd-year player. We brought him in last year on that week of COVID, where he just had to come in. Not only was it his first football game as a rookie, he had to start in that football game since there were so many people on the COVID list. And then Deshaun Harris, number 45, he did show some flash plays last week. He makes this football team right now as the 5th linebacker, but we have to bring in somebody to replace David Mayo. He's the John Bostic of the group, looking at it clearly right now. I wasn't even a huge fan of Cole Holcomb this preseason, especially in coverage as a middle linebacker. He needs to go back to the outside. We need to find a dude that can be the middle linebacker of our 4-3. Cole Holcomb's not a middle linebacker. Jamin Davis is not a middle linebacker. Both of them are outside, which is fine. They could both be very good talents out there. They got great speed, can tackle. I think Cole Holcomb had like 100 tackles last year, so he can get after in the run game especially. But at coverage and understanding where he's supposed to be and leading this defense, I think is way too much on his plate right now from what I saw in preseason. But for now, this is our linebacker group, and it's clearly our weakest position. Who would have thought we would have kept more tight ends than corners? We only keep 4 corners listed. Now, we do have a couple of guys in the safety spot. Of course, Bobby McCain and Percy Butler that can play sometimes in that nickel role. I think Bobby McCain has had experience as the nickel corner, and then we have the Buffalo nickel guy with Percy Butler. But for now, we only keep 4 corners listed on this roster. Kendall Fuller, William Jackson, Benjamin St. Juste were all obvious to make the football team. But then Christian Holmes finds a way to beat out guys like Corn Elder, Stephen Parker. Dejon Neal was horrible. But Christian Holmes makes this football team, our 7th round pick out of Oklahoma State. And he's a great scheme fit for us. He's a guy that can play a lot of zone corner. That's what he did in college. And we all know how much Jack Del Rio loves to call his zone, even though it's to our chagrin. He makes this football team. And then we have 5 safeties: Bobby McCain, Cameron Curl, Jeremy Reeves, Derek Forrest, and Percy Butler. To me, it's basically we kept 2 safeties and the rest are special teamers, okay? But they are going to use Derek Forrest a lot in that Buffalo nickel type 3 safety look. He was getting a lot of the first team reps during training camp. We do keep him. Jeremy Reeves, I don't think that this list has any sort of bearing. Yeah, because Montez Sweat is way down here on this list. So I don't think there's any sort of like, all right, this is the obvious starters and then so on and so forth. I think they kind of just did it randomly. So I don't think this means Jeremy Reaves is listed above Derek Forrest or Percy Butler or anything like that. But Jeremy Reaves, he's kind of been our special teams almost, DeShazer Everett was the captain, but Jeremy Reaves was like this guy below him, as if there was an order to captains on our special team. So not surprising, he made the football team there, and he was probably one of our better backup safeties as well throughout the preseason. He had a tackle for loss last game. He's not horrible. Percy Butler, man, he's a rookie, has a lot to learn. He was already a raw talent coming in. We have a lot to coach him up on. He bit as the deep safety on a slant route for the Sluggo. He was the reason that they got that huge touchdown to what's his name, Robinson from the Ravens. Yeah, a lot of people are going to blame number 37, the corner. No, he was supposed to have safety help over the top, and Percy Butler bit like crazy on that play. Gotta fix that. But then, of course, we've rounded out with Joey Sly, Tress Way, and Cameron Cheeseman, and here's all the cuts that we made to the football team. We also moved Willie Beavers, Keith Ishmael, and Josh Drayden to the IR. Willie Beavers is a guy that looked actually pretty good throughout the preseason, and so he's, for now, starting the team on the IR spot, so they did not want to let Willie Beavers go at all, and because he also has some position flex, mostly plays tackle, but can come in and play guard. Keith Ishmael is not very good, but he's our backup center. Third string center behind Wes Switzer. But if two guys in the center goes down, I guess Wes Switzer could play center, and then Sadiq Charles could play guard. So I guess we don't need him, but this is a guy they definitely liked. It is interesting that they cut Wes Martin. This is a guy they actually used a waiver on to bring him in, and he's already cut off this football team. That was odd to me. Why would use a waiver guy on a guy you were most likely going to cut anyway? He was not a guy that was obviously going to make a spot on this roster. But those are some interesting cuts. William Bradley King, our 7th round pick from 2 years ago, did not make this football team. Khaleke Hudson did not make this football team. That was definitely probably a surprise to a lot of people, considering how many times you saw 47, especially on special teams last year. But I know from what I watched on the Ravens team, he was a guy that I did not like to see on the field. Number 47 was not clear on where he was supposed to be as far as a linebacker is concerned. And the fact that you can't make this team on how weak the linebacker position was says a lot. And unfortunately, he was definitely a busted pick out of, I believe, the 6th round that year, or 5th round, somewhere in that range. I think 2020 is when he was drafted. Jarrett Patterson. Jarrett Patterson is a guy that a lot of people are going to be sad to see go. And I am too, all right? But I'm not sad in the sense of I thought he should make this football team and he was a clear talent. No. Jarrett Patterson has a lot to be desired as far as a physical attributes kind of guy. Now, an IQ and football knowledge of the running back position, this guy is arguably top tier. Like, I bet there's not many guys in the league as high IQ of a runner as Patterson. But when you're 5'9" on a good day, 200 pounds, not the fastest dude, it's hard to make it in the NFL. Like, yeah, he was a great story last year, friends with Chase Young, undrafted free agent, I believe, out of Buffalo, and he had like a 400-yard game with 6 touchdowns in college. It was a great story, but he was not a great player. Okay, we did not lose a lot losing Jarrett Patterson. Jonathan Williams is a better talent at the running back position. Not necessarily 100% a better runner, but he's a better talent. Okay, and they're gonna keep that over a guy. He's like the Taylor Heineke, right, of quarterbacks. But even not at that level. Like Heineke, I would say, is better quarterback than Jarrett Patterson is at running back of the league. Even though, because they're both high IQ players, they understand the game. They just don't have necessarily the physical attributes. But Taylor Heineke is able to even do more than Jarrett Patterson to me on the football field. But all right, so that's the 53-man roster for now. Of course, you have Chase Young and Tyler Lawson on the reserve PUP list. They'll miss the first 4 weeks. And that's what we got for now. Okay, you guys let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. How you feeling about this roster? Where do you think we're gonna go? Okay, we going all the way? Super Bowl? A lot of pieces have to fall into place, right? But no, I don't. We'll see. We'll see. It's a very intriguing roster. This is a team that could literally finish 4-13 or something crazy like 13-4. With our schedule is very weak. We have a ton of guys going into their prime or deep into the league. They have a lot of experience, not like a ton of experience, but they have enough experience, and then they're going into the prime of their careers where this team could explode. But we do have some weaknesses we got to fix, namely linebacker. Okay, that's a big one. But until then, you guys let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Also, in the description below, there's a Discord link. Hop on our Discord and come talk some football. Last but not least, there are donation links in the description below. If you feel so kind, you can donate to the channel or become a channel member by hitting the join button. And thank you for the 3 that have already joined as members. But yes, this is the 53-man roster. And until next time, see ya!